Ready for the dramatic pause? Here, continue. Um, it's awesome. I registered a domain and I just did. Isn't that beautiful? So what we're gonna build. Gosh, I hope the video is recorded too, because that's just a dramatically beautiful website. So what we've got in the back end here, and I'm just going to show the plugins. We have very few plugins to run this site. I always use Classic Editor. That's a personal preference. I'm not a fan of blocks. Custom post type UI is what we use to build the client post type, and I'll show how we did that. Elementor and Pro. I'm using this for a demo later. This is a great tool for developers. FakerPress allows you to populate posts with images as a featured image and some other like Ipsum Lauren text by pressing a button. So I use FakerPress to build in some sample client stuff so we can play with it. And then that's pretty much it. There's some stuff on here that I use. This isn't a public site. I'm just using this as a play space. So how we start this, what we're going to build is a client portfolio, and we'll name some of these actual client names. And then when we click on this, we want a single post that has a lot more than just a picture and a title. Okay? So our goal is to build a client portfolio without doing any code. All right, so how we're going to start this, I've installed Custom Post Type UI, which is a great plugin. It allows you to create a custom post type. I created clients here, and all you do is go to Add Edit Post Types, and you can create a post type. I'm going to make one called Videos for later use, and you can give it a name in the menu. You can give it, there's a lot of options here. I won't get into how the plugin works, but there's one thing I always like, which is to, down here, is to support what I will want to support with the custom post type, because I always check custom fields and maybe an excerpt if I want to use an excerpt. So what I'm doing with one button and a couple settings, I'm creating a custom post type, plural label, videos, video. And you'll see it pops up on the side here. Now I've just created a custom post type I can use later called videos. So I could build a video gallery and put in the title, the URL, and whatnot, and use Elementor to display the dynamic video gallery. Next thing I did after building, I'll show you the post types we have. So I made one called clients, and in the clients post type, I added some fields. These are populated by that plugin FakerPress. So we'll make an actual client name. This plugin is called Advanced Custom Fields. So these two together are a 1-2 punch that can let you do a lot of fancy things without any code. Custom Fields allows you to put field groups together that can be used in a custom post type. So I made one called clients, and I'll show you what I did is I made in every post type, see down here in the rules, every post type that is equal to client, which is these, I'm going to apply these custom fields. I have a required description, and I use a customer description in a post type instead of the WordPress description because we're using an archive. And if any has any questions, just ask.
Hey, Michael,
yes.
I do have a question. I'm sorry. So someone that's coming to this subject brand new, why do it this way as opposed to using what's in the WordPress system already?
Well, because I can create a layout for the way I display the customer thumbnails and visual, a customer list, and I can also specify exactly the layout of my single customer. Also, I can pull in data from the post into that customer. So things like I want a button that is on the thing, but on every different customer, I want that button to be that customer's URL. I want a list of services I performed for that customer, but I might not have performed the same services for another customer.
So you're being very specific and custom to that particular client.
I'm using this as a data storehouse in clients. So these fields, and then an optional. So you'll see these are required, and this is optional. So let's go to a client, and you'll see that when I go to look at a client, let's make this one a name. Let's call this Awesome Car Dealer. And you'll see that I have a customer description field. I'm going to just put in here I don't endorse this brand, nor do I describe. I just picked one. So I've got a customer description, and then I've got services. So all these fields I've set up in post type, and every time I fill out a client, I can check these boxes. Let's say I did design for this one, and I'm doing maintenance. And the URL is Google. Now, customer gallery. This is an optional thing. To move my videos here, you can click Add to Gallery, and I'm just going to create a customer gallery. I love the images they pick in that Faker press. I like this looks like a very close up of a bunny. Moving videos up here. And so now I've added those to a gallery. So in advanced custom fields, there are many types. You have WYSIWYG, like clients. You've got checkboxes. You've got URLs, and you've got image galleries. You've got a lot of things you can store in this post. And I've already got a featured image. I'm going to make it actually a picture of something. How about here? All right, so once I've added that, I've stored that information associated with this post. All right. Now, the next concept that we're doing with no code is what's called an Elementor template. Elementor has templates that you can create, and you can assign those templates to certain things. So, for example, you could make a template for the client archive page when you see all the clients and how you want that to look. That can be different from the post page for the blog. That can look different. You can also have the WooCommerce shop and the WooCommerce single WooCommerce product, and you can create templates that I saw that. We're not going to go Toyota on you. I'll put a Chevy in there for you or something. How's that? So I'm just going to update that one, and let's go look at this post. It's not going to have all that data, but I want to show you the templates that I've done, created, and how to make one. There's the theme builder, and I've made a client archive page. When we first saw that demo page and it had those thumbnails and the titles, this is just an Elementor template. So all you do is to make a new one, you can say what type. You can make a page, a section, a pop-up, header, footer, a single archive. Those are the types you can create, and you can name them. I have worked on sites that have 30, 40 templates, And I can show examples of other things you can do with those if we want to and have time. So all I did is I made one called Archive, and I I called it Client Archive because that's what we're showing. If you're not familiar with the word archive, it just means all the posts in a type. So archive is another word for all the posts of a type. So a blog is just a bunch of posts of the blog of a regular post type. If I'm looking at clients, I'm going to do the archive of the client type. So I've made and I'll open it, I'll toggle here. So this, let me leave that. Isn't this a gorgeous site? So this is the archive page, and I'm going to edit it to show you how it's put together. So all I've done on this one, you'll see that when you go to Elementor, if you're editing a page, you're editing the page you're on, but if you have any templates like a header, a footer, or this archive page, or all clients page, there's the awesome car dealer that we just labeled. So if you go to edit the archive page, you're actually editing the template. Okay? And here's why I love some of the plugins I use. This, and again, these are fake titles, obviously. They're generated by a plugin. We'll rename some of them so it's obvious what are, like we'll do a car dealership and a spice store. Those are two sites I worked on recently. This is a, if you click here and right click, edit posts, you'll see that this is a post widget. I'm going to go to here for a second and show you that I have the Pro version. So you have the Pro version adds a lot of things. I also have what's called Anywhere Elementor, the one I mentioned before. This is how you can pull in dynamic content like galleries and checklists and things like that without doing any code. So that plugin, I don't know if you put the link in there. Yeah. The
custom post types? No,
there's another one called Elementor Anywhere. This plugin is even the free version does a lot, but I bought the Pro version, which I think is 25 bucks. So for 25 bucks, you can do a lot of dynamic content for your website. I have the Lifetime Unlimited because I loved it so much. So anyway, back to how this is built. All I'm doing is pulling in a post widget. I said, give me 12 posts and 3 columns, make it a grid, and give me post type clients. If I change this to post type posts, which are like the blog posts, it pulls in a completely different list of things. So all I've done is used a default plugin. I selected clients here, and I could do some styling, obviously, make the titles fit wider. We can get into that if anyone wants to. But this is dynamically pulling in all of the clients' post types into this archive. And how I display that is I've said include this post in categories, clients. And that's it. So no code, and I have a grid of all of my clients that we're developing. Does that make sense? So I've got this is the all post page, and then when I click this page, I'll leave there. Yeah, I know I'm not going to save it. Now we're going to work on what I haven't done before the thing. Let's go to the awesome car dealer. All that we have now in the thing is I've got the featured image, a title, some things. I'll show you how this it will style this to be obvious what these are. Remember I checked design and maintenance? Now it shows here, and we'll style that like things we performed, and then put a checkbox or something, or a little arrow, or a bullet. And then this, if you notice in the bottom left, this is linking to Google because that's what I linked it to. And I believe I've got it set to a new tab. Yep. So when someone's browsing, any client will go to that URL because this page is built dynamically. Then I've got the Premier Toy Dealer and the gallery, which I set to a nice, over slideshow. This is a very weird dealership that has bunnies and beach shots, but so how this is built, and let's make this a little nicer because it doesn't look very good. Remember where I can edit the template because if I'm viewing a single post and there's a template for it, I can edit that by hitting client single. And all you're really doing is editing a page in Elementor that's a template. So it's no different than editing a page in Elementor. It's the same tools. It's the same way. There are some other things you can do. So I'm going to, let's see. I guess earlier I made this mobile version. I think I want the name on top. If you don't know what I'm doing on any of these, please stop and ask. So now I've got the client title big on top. And then over here, I think this is a little too big, so it's really hard to resize that. There we go. I'm going to put a title. Let's find a nice header for a title. I'll use the default one. Anything you put in static is going to be on every client page. Everything dynamic is going to be pulled in from the fields in the post. All right, now this, oops. Let's pull in a different widget here. Let's do the, I'll just scroll down.
And we have a couple of questions too, whenever you're ready.
I'm ready for questions anytime.
Okay, the first one from Christiana was, can you move an existing post to a different type using custom post types? And Christina, if we need clarification, we may have to have you jump in.
If you're asking if you can copy a custom post type setting to another one, yes, you can. So if you have worked on, you can copy both the custom post type settings to another one, and you can also copy those custom field groups. You can copy that and then rename them.
I'm more thinking about posts that are already existing, that now that I know this is possible, I would like to move into different custom post types.
Can you move existing posts into there?
Yeah.
There's two ways I know to do that, other than Control-C, Control-V, which is really a bummer. How do you move things to WP Bakery to Elementor? Control-C, Control-V. So there is, what I've done is exported the posts. I know it sounds weird, but export those posts and import them into the specific post type using like WPL import or something. But I'm usually moving. The last time I did that, we're moving 32,000 posts. So WPL import, you can export all your posts. Actually, you can just export them from WordPress importer. If you're under tools, you can export WordPress posts and then just import them in. If you know a database, you can just change the post type. Like you can literally, you got to be really careful and know what you're doing if you're playing with either Direct MySQL or PHP-MyAdmin. But you can do that. It's I always found it safer to because I like to test. I'll usually export the post, play on a stage server. We had guys that had in their regular posts tons of videos with ACF fields, right? So it had like a Vimeo URL that was wrapped in an embed. And since WordPress supports Vimeo and YouTube and tons of other externals, we just exported it all. I ran a script to remove the embed and then imported it with a raw, just a Vimeo URL into a post type called videos. And it just had three things. It had the description that went under the video, the title of the video overhead, and the video URL. And then I made just one post which just said, pull in the title, pull in the video, pull in that, just like we're doing now. And I had a video, and then I made a video gallery. So by each video type, you know how you do a carousel gallery in Elementor Pro? You can do video galleries. There's one in Ultimate Elementor that's amazing. It's a carousel video gallery that you can dynamically pull stuff in. That's really cool. It's by the same guys that make the Astra theme. So if you like the Astra theme, Ultimate Elementor and Astra go hand in hand on top of Elementor Pro.
Great, thank you.
Does that help?
Yeah, I don't think I have that many. I was just wondering if there was an easy way to do it. It sounds like Control-C, Control-V might just be fine, honestly.
Here's kind of my rule. If it's less than 20, I'll copy them.
Okay.
If it's more than 20, I export, import.
Perfect, thank you.
If I can watch an episode of Doctor Who and do it, I'll do it. If it takes longer than that, I'll export and import in less time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Michael, we have a second question from Jim.
Sure.
He's asked, could you pull in a WordPress blog post that is posted on WordPress.com, a different domain and a different host?
There are a couple ways to do that. The best way to do that is to get a plugin. I have to think of the name of it, which takes the RSS of the post from WordPress.com, because I don't believe WordPress.com lets you natively embed posts from on WordPress.org and com are different. WordPress.com is you pay them to host your site, and they have their features within their hosting environment from automatic. They have like a software as a service version of WordPress hosting. WordPress.org is what we do. We install WordPress, like I installed WordPress on my server, and that's the free version, and then you can do whatever you want with it. But if you need to get from any other website or WordPress.com, there's almost always an RSS feed. It's usually name of thing /feed, like domain /feed is the normal WordPress way now. And you can have a plugin that will pull feeds from anywhere and turn them into a post you can do something with. I have a couple clients that basically have like a law blog, but they don't actually write anything. They pull in posts that are public, and they just have a small excerpt and a link to the post. So when people come to one place for different types of law information without having to go to 15 different sites. Does that help answer the question? But there's no native way to pull in WordPress.com into WordPress.org that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I think the RSS is probably the way to go. I ran into trouble trying to do it on Divi. Thank you.
You're welcome. And yeah, you can actually I'll follow up with Joe, and he can add it to the Meetup notes. There's a plugin that I can't think of the name of it right now that I've used on a couple sites, and for I think $30, you can assign it to every incoming RSS to a specific post type.
Oh.
It's really cool.
A WP aggregator?
It's not. I don't want to go look it up now, but Jim, I'll leave my email at the end, and actually, I'll put it in here now. Here.
Thank you.
Just give me a second. If you email me, I'll look it up. And this is so email me or text me, and I'll look it up for you.
Thanks, Michael.
So what we're pulling in here is we want a checklist of those things that we pulled in before, that we entered into the client, the services we performed. So one of the things we need to know, and the only thing you have to cut and paste that I'm aware of in this setup is, let's go to client, custom fields. And these slugs, these names here, those are unique to every field that we're playing with in the system. You could have 15 field groups, and every one of them is going to be, it's actually required to be unique so that you can pull those fields and use them somewhere else. So we're going to use an ACF field plugin on our single that we're playing with. Whoops. Tab issue. Leave that one. We're working on this one. And there's a field called ACF. And all I'm going to do is put that in here. And on this, if you remember, you can pull in any of these things dynamically from a field. We had a checkbox type, right? It was a post field, and it is customer services performed. It's not a subfield. Display the data. Let's do, I don't know, let's do a bullet layout and a left align. Now, if we want an icon to like a button or an arrow, let's try an arrow. Just for something fun. All right, so now it's going to pull in unchecked. We don't have to have anything. If we won't show anything unless it's checked. You can also produce a list of all the things and put check marks by the ones you did, but it doesn't seem like a good use case for that. So customer website, you'll see that all I've done is made a button, and the link in this is a URL field. And how you select that is you go to settings and just select the customer web URL from this post type. It automatically knows if it's a link, it's looking for link types. In this case, you notice when we edited this, we know it's a checkbox type. It's looking for a checkbox type only. And down here, let's add a gallery. And again, there's one called ACF Gallery. And we're going to do the same thing. Let's put it in, I guess we can make it a carousel. Let's see what that looks like. Now the field name we're going to pull here, and it's cleverly called Customer Gallery. We'll show a thumbnail. Let's put it into a light box when they click on it. And slides, let's do 4. And so before all this is post navigation. That's a default capability. And so what we've created is, this is the post title, featured image, static thing, list of things we performed, customer web link. This, by the way, if you're not familiar, I was playing early this morning. You have the ability in Elementor to look at what your page is going to look like on different devices. So I looked on mobile and I didn't like how this was set. So I changed this. Now, I had this title would show up twice. I liked having the image, this, and then the customer URL on mobile. I didn't think much more was necessary. Oh, there's one other thing I want to pull in on desktop. Let's pull in I pulled in a text editor. Let's show how that's done. Actually, let's do that from scratch. So all I'm going to do to pull in the customer description. I'm going to sneeze. Hold on. I thought I was. Is the normal just text editor? It has a cool feature. There's this little button up here that says dynamic, and you can pull in the post excerpt from the post if there is one. You can pull in titles and other things. Also, you can pull in ACF fields. So I'm going to pull in an ACF field, and then you select, I'm going to do customer description. So remember we put in that small customer description with Toyota in it? That's going to pull that into that under the field. And the display conditions are, it shows it for all clients and only clients. So if you might not want a very different layout for a blog post than a client than a video post. And now that we've saved that, let's go take a look at an individual. So now you see it pulled in. We put our title at the top. We pulled in that we've done design and maintenance. It's a link to their awesome website, Google. We've got the text underneath, and now we've got a carousel of thumbnails. I kind of like the grid, but I just want to see what it looks like. It works, especially if you have a lot of screenshots of a client. It's nice because you get some movement, and it shows the screenshot. Imagine these are big screenshots of different pages of your work. That's a nice display. And right now we've done it all. We've created an archive page that pulls dynamically from all the posts we pulled in. We created a single page. This is the one we edited. And the single page pulls in this data dynamically. Obviously, we would take more time making it look nice. But do you have any questions? I think that's what I wanted to show is how Elementor power combined with like stored data is pretty neat.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. This looks great, Michael. There was another question I wanted to confirm. Mark Blair asked a question, and it looked like Steve responded. Mark, did you get your answer, or should we ask Michael the same question again?
I got the answer on the first part, but I had a second question in there that was about the SEO that I could ask here.
Okay, go for it.
All right, so I was curious what you use for SEO, and when you're doing ACF fields and Elementor, what meshes well with the custom fields, in particular when the SEO plugins doing keyword analysis and focus keywords and that kind of stuff?
That's a good question. Generally, for our projects, we don't do a lot of SEO. We do design, development, maintenance, and security, pretty much. That's why I picked those four as examples, because that's what we do. However, we do a lot of initial SEO setup, and then usually there's marketing companies that can do ad management, SEO, various things like that. If that is a concern, then I would rearrange I don't think we're going to SEO a client page, but for the content pages, you definitely want to pay attention. I use Yoast SEO. Some people like other tools. It's just the one that, from me, especially the latest version, that had a great, they changed the table structure so it's a lot faster. There's a button you probably, if you do a lot of development, say, speed up by site now. It's actually moving their content into a better table structure. So it does speed up their site by having better table structure. The I would put probably a description because you need an alt tag on the image for and I forgot lady's name, but I loved hearing about Wave doing accessibility. I'm really interested in that. Unfortunately, I have a appointment this afternoon, but I'd love to attend that meetup at some point. So there's nothing Elementor does that prevents having good SEO, but your content, like obviously, like our example of awesome Toyota dealer is not SEO optimized. So when you actually write the descriptions, that's why in a way, that's why I like using the Google and them don't know a difference between how the text gets there. They're looking at the page. So whether it's stored in the actual post description or the ACF field, I agree, Sumner.
Right. What I was more referring to, like in Yoast, you have, for example, and I know there's an ACF add-on for Yoast, but I was just kind of curious in terms of your experience. But you have you chose to use customer description rather than the default WordPress, WYSIWYG field, and so in general, if the plugin itself is doing some SEO analysis to recommend, we recommend you use this keyword more times or whatever it's going to do. I have clients that do this and kind of hand tool things, and
yeah, that's a personal choice. I could have also pulled in, since it's only one post type, I could have pulled in the WordPress description as well.
Yeah. Okay.
I just was showing ACF stuff, so
Sure.
I used that. But you're right, that's not necessary. I often use that in lieu of excerpt because if we're doing video post types or whatnot, people tend to write things that aren't SEO friendly, and so they can write the content and description, and then someone can go and edit it and put it in the excerpt field or the ACF field.
Right. I'm starting to look into rank math, which I haven't used as an alternative to Yoast, because I hear it's very Elementor friendly. So I'm going to be evaluating and see what that can
I would
do.
love to.
I may have more information for the next time.
Yeah, I would love to learn about that. So it's very popular for developers. The reason I use Yoast is because my customers are not developers.
Right.
But that being said, at some of our customers get 50, 60, 100 million page views.
It's great.
Like any little bit you can save is amazing. And I will say that, all SEO products are not the same page weight. So, yeah, Steve, I see your comment. And Summer, yeah, Wave's a tool. I actually worked with the Popes a little bit that created Wave. Sorry, if you don't know, Wave is a tool you can use to evaluate accessibility. It does not substitute for a person who is knowledgeable. So Wave just creates a list, but a knowledgeable person has to address that list, and for accessibility.
All right. So I had a couple of questions, and again, this is a great presentation. So for someone that's relatively new to Elementor, seeing what you've done, how would you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10 for someone to leave this meeting and do what you did? Like, I'm not sure if that's clear.
With following along to those same simple things, I would probably, if 1 is the simplest thing and 10 is the hardest thing, it's probably about a 6. Because Elementor has a learning curve, right? Any tool does. Any tool at all does. Elementor's learning curve is, this is section, this is columns, this is rows, right? The concepts are simple, but as you go a little further, then you start pulling in learning about templates, right? And that's a building block toward what I did. So I tried to introduce the global to the template and what templates are, that a template is just displaying a specific thingy, like a video template or a client template or a blog. You can make them look the way you want with a template, and not have to rely on a themes. Settings for those kind of things are very limited generally.
Okay. What would you say is, in a typical Elementor setup, what are the prime candidates for doing something dynamic? Or what's the best areas to address first?
I do it to make the administration of the site really easy for customers. That's why I do it. It's not that because they don't have to go edit a page. They just add a video, right? They add a video and it automatically makes it look the way they want it to look. So the combination of those fields make it very easy for the layman, i.e. a customer or your customer's employees, to just go in the back end and make a post. Right? If you can add a title, a description, and update, you can do this. You're just filling in a few more fields, right? Cool. Right? That's and as with ACF, less is more. So if you are, I did 4 fields and look how much we could do with it, right? I mean, I'm still using featured image. I'm still using post title. I'm not doing. It'd be ridiculous to do that for everything. Mm-hmm. But for the fields that are specific to a post, and the examples are like clients, videos, blogs, WooCommerce singles, right? If you can have a different template for different product types in WooCommerce, for example. You can get really advanced with this stuff. I'm not showing, I mean, we have a site for a golf company in Colorado that has 47 templates.
Oh, wow.
Because there's, like on this category, a lot of them are same, but like this particular post is in this category, therefore it gets this advertising from this sponsor.
It sounds like variations of.
Yeah, we're dynamically pulling in not only the template, but the advertising that goes into the template. So so one guy just creates a post about Callaway, right? The latest whatever. I'm not a golfer, but I know that brand. So they put up the latest Callaway or Ping product, and then all they do is hit post. And the ad manager just uses Google Tag Manager to say, okay, this category, now this runs. And they assemble dynamically.
Awesome.
So it's a powerful tool. However, this is accessible to anyone with like let's say it's a 6.
Okay.
That golf site's a 10.
Yeah, but to me, it's like you said, it was exciting to see that you did a couple of things and you had 4, the whole page was created from something dynamic, and it had a lot of features that are common to what we put on websites. So I think that's great. In terms of ACF, what are your most go-to features in ACF that you tend to use a lot?
I use repeater fields a lot. I didn't show that here, but you can actually, imagine you wanted, I did a site for a yoga company where they had yoga instructors, and every yoga instructor wants their social media. So instead of hand coding that all the time, we built a short code that put in teacher stuff, and then we wrote something using repeater fields that said, okay, if I want Facebook, I click this, and I put in my Facebook URL. If I want LinkedIn, I put this, and I put in LinkedIn. So each teacher can do their own with no code.
Cool.
So I use repeater fields a lot. And honestly, images, gallery, a lot, because a lot of, especially videos, you can have video thumbnail, video overlay, video URL. So they can, when people are doing streaming video, they want to really control what it looks like on the single page, right? And then we even in the template we can size the video to be exactly what we want on desktop, tablet, mobile. Make really nice. We actually really separate those often for those templates. But once we're done.
Yeah.
They just go video thumb, video URL, video title, description, post.
So it gives them, and to me, I love that concept of just giving the client only the things that they really need to do.
Oh,
So they
and
don't
there's
do other things and screw up the site.
I forgot to mention the most used plugins I have are User Role Manager.
Oh, you know what? That was going to be my next question. What are your, for Elementor, and for those that are attending today, what are your favorite go-to plugins for Elementor?
Besides, for Elementor, I love Ultimate Elementor.
And what does that do? Why don't you give a little description of each one as well as why you like it?
I'm still sharing here. So why don't I just show? Let's go to the let's go here on this page. So this is the post-related widgets. These are the basic widgets you're all familiar with. This is 90% of web editing, like images, buttons, video, and I'd say Google Maps and icons.
Michael, your screen is not being shared.
Oh, sorry. I stopped it. I apologize. Let me go.
Oh, I still see you're inside of Elementor, so you don't see that, Mark?
That's a different one.
Screen's there.
I see it.
Yeah, I think I see it too.
Here, let's share the whole desktop. Is that better?
No, like we can all see it. I'm not sure if
you can see this, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can.
Pro is the one you pay a little money for Elementor. It has great things in, and my go-to here are nav menu. I use a lot. Flipbox is awesome. Block quote is cool. The Lotties are amazing. I'll be publishing our last Meetup. A guy did a great thing on Lottie animations with a fantastic site. Then there's general ones. So.
But then I guess my question too is outside of the Elementor Pro ecosphere or sphere of influence, do you use any third-party tool? One of the reasons why I hate the other two competitors is that they have so many add-ons that are outside of the premium tool that you have to buy to do additional functionality.
That's a great question. Our rule of evaluating any third party is first, I have guys that are way smarter than me look at the code. Actually look at the code of how it's written. Mm-hmm. And the ones that have passed muster are, so we use Astra theme a lot. Depending on the size of the project, Astra or Generate Press. Those are the two. Astra is awesome for features and functions. I use it for sites up to 100,000 page views. Above that, I use Generate Press because it's a little lighter when you get into the millions of page views.
What about Hello? You know, they brag about how Hello is great.
Here's why I don't use it. I love it. If you're going to just build an Elementor only site, it's fantastic. But that's just not our experience. And so I use Astra and Ultimate Elementor. It has great post widgets. It's worth it alone for the post widgets that you get.
So do you use Astra Pro or is that the basic? I know Astra has a premium, or do you use the basic?
I use Astra with Astra Pro, Elementor Pro, Ultimate Elementor, and if I need anything else, if I'm using ACFs, I use that Elementor Anywhere plugin that I showed. That's all this stuff. Like there's so much. So this is Ultimate add-ons. You get like dual color helis, animated headlines. Gravity Forms Styler is awesome if you use Gravity Forms instead of the step forms that just came out with Elementor.
And why do you like that? Or what does it do that's different from regular Gravity Forms?
I can make it look any way I want without CSS.
Oh, that's cool.
I can style the Elementor form without. I like to do things without doing code.
And I think I think we got that from today's presentation.
Yeah, I mean I do a lot of code, but that's if I don't have to, why do it?
Hey, Michael.
Yes.
Why Astra over Hello?
I will answer that by going to. I'm sorry. I don't want to monopolize the time.
Oh no, that's fine. And like I said, this is perfect. I mean, and this is
Okay.
we're getting great interaction. So keep going with it.
Here's why. I have, now this site is horrible looking, but imagine it looked great. I literally just installed this morning for a demo, and it's going to become our Elementor Las Vegas Meetup site. I have control over global typography, colors, containers, buttons, scrolls, header controls over all of the things, including transparent headers and other things that I would have to otherwise do CSS. So I use this for structure and global settings, because when I use Elementor, I just use default. I don't have to use, so this gives me more power than the current Elementor default kit. You know, the styling kit.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you a lot more options and power. Also, on any post, let's go back to here. You see, these are the default Astra settings. If on any page, I can just disable the title. On the home page, I don't like having the title because I know I arrive at a site, I know the URL, so I can disable the title with a click. But it doesn't. It only affects that page. I can also change a single page layout if I want to. Right.
And I think one thing that I and this was up.
So for our customers, the answer is we need more. I'm going to take just a second. You aren't doing this in Hello.
Why?
Because I have global controls, I have layout controls by page, and I would have to, with Hello, I don't have that control.
So you're using Astra for the back end controls.
That's exactly right. I'm not using it for any display stuff, other than usually customers have. I'll go incognito because it's like all of this global fontography is set in a theme, and then they can do local. Like everything on this site is set in. There's a lot of stuff. Like this particular section, I hate this font. That's what they want. So global font, except for when the customer is right, and it's. But I'm not the customer. Their customers respond to different things. You see what I mean? And so I can globalize, and then any local stuff I can adjust, of course.
So what about you? You always hear, and I think one of Elementor's selling points with Hello is that it's blazing fast. How do the three compare? Should that be in the equation?
If you look at the latest from at least 2019, the latest actually measured stats, in order, it's Generate Press, Astra Hello. If you're only doing an Elementor site and you're not doing any functionality and you're not doing contact forms or anything else, Hello's great. I need more. So like bang for buck. I mean, my own site gets an A on all GT metrics, and I'm using. On my site, I'm using Astra.
Are you using Astra for headers and footers, or are you using?
No, almost always Elementor. Okay. Yeah.
So Astra is strictly for global settings.
Global settings and structure, right? Like you can always on a section go stretch this to the side. You can choose at the template level Elementor canvas instead of the default template. So I have options for the 90 percentile that they want it always to look like this, but then I can go Elementor canvas and make a landing page. I can do whatever I want outside of that structure. It saves me a lot of time to use a theme. And I love Astra Pro, and Generate Press and Generate Pro because Generate is the leanest that has any functionality, is just a little bit faster than Elementor, or excuse me, than Astra. I mean, like milliseconds. But at scale, that does make a difference. Makes a difference on bandwidth cost. When you're in 60 million page views, like the difference of you're arguing over milliseconds at that point.
So
I have a couple of questions.
Go ahead, Gary.
Sorry. I'm still just kind of in the beginner stage, working my way to intermediate here.
Me too.
So,
I have smart employees though.
Employees always make the boss look good.
I was told once, hire a guy smarter than you and let him go.
That's very true.
Just do their thing.
So I'm still kind of trying to understand, and I think I'm mostly there, the relationship between theme and Elementor Pro. First of all, between the theme style function and the theme builder function in Elementor Pro, do you even still need a theme?
You don't, and that goes back to the last question. Most people don't. You could actually, like, Hello is basically themeless, if you will.
Okay.
It doesn't have like a bunch of settings like I showed for what we do. And when you're in the Elementor styling, the next version of it that where they're in like alpha testing is amazing. So there will come a point where I don't think you'll need themes anymore, right? You don't.
Are we at that point yet? I mean, I've always been told you gotta have a theme first before you can build a WordPress site.
Well,
so
you definitely need a theme to deliver the pages. The theme, if nothing else, has to deliver the WordPress pages.
So at a bare minimum, you've got to have at least hello.
Exactly. That is the bare minimum theme. It is, and if you could build you could build a huge site like using these tools, the ACFs, because all this does is create a web page.
Okay.
And then above that, you put like either some really smart cache, and I love WP Rocket with Cloudflare. That's an awesome combination. That's cheap and free. I saw some comments here. There's the links to those. Yeah. So Astra makes that Ultimate Elementor. They are obviously going to work well together as well. And I love that plugin because of there's so many widgets that you don't get with Pro. Especially, I love the post widget, the way they do it. And you have all these options like cards and grids and carousel and creative feeds. And I don't remember the price, $30, something like that. You get tons of stuff for that. But for most sites that are like marketing sites, especially advertising a company, you could just do hello, make a beautiful Elementor footer, Elementor header, use Styler, and Styler does what most marketing sites would need.
Okay.
Right? You don't need like 5 levels of H1 to H6. You don't need, you don't need a lot to build a site. If you think about what a website is, most sites are logo, header of some sort, content, footer.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's why, and I'm sorry to jump in, Gary, but that's why the project that I was describing, a lot of formal themes lock you into certain areas of the page. What I love about Elementor and now the new theme styler is that you can be incredibly customized.
Yeah.
And you can design it exactly. And I love the fact that in Themer, you can H1, H2, and that was going to be my demo today, but we'll just do it another time. But having that ability to not have to do a bloated site with all these different variations of pages, most clients may need only 1 or 2 types of layouts, and you could do that really quickly and easily with Elementor.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Can I ask just one more question?
Sure.
You can ask as many as you need to.
No, I think this is the last one. I don't want to hog all the time. So if I'm going to use Astra and Elementor Pro, the first thing I do when I launch a new site is I first go into all the customizer for Astra, set everything that I want to set there globally, and then go into Elementor Pro. And as I'm building the site locally, I can override whatever I've set in Astra with Elementor Pro. Does that make sense?
You can do that with just Elementor free. So Elementor allows you to make a local change. That is, whether you're using the theme for the styling or the Elementor styler, you can always do a local change.
Okay, so set everything first with your theme, whether it's Astra or anything else, and then Elementor for local changes if I want.
That's a good approach. Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, thank you. That's all I.
Is there any cost? Oh, there's other.
Yeah, I was gonna
Any caution required in upgrading to the latest WP Rocket? There's always caution in upgrading any plugin. But here's what it depends on the pressure on the site and how you manage it. For and this is kind of our rule of thumb for sites that get under 100,000 page views a month. I use Updraft Plus, and so anytime you do an update, you have a backup before you update. If something goes awry, restore the backup. And I usually do those things at 9 or 10 at night, so it is extremely unlikely in today's WordPress world to get the white screen of death we used to get. Even it's only been a few years, but the improvements in WordPress and plugins and how it deals with plugins have greatly improved, a lot. With WP Rocket, because it is caching, we usually manage our plugins where we update on a stage site, and we use a version control software called Git to deploy to live once we know it worked. So we have a stage environment where we do the updates, and then you can just click around if you want, but we automate some of that so that here also in iTheme Security's latest version, if you use that plugin, there is a feature that allows you to automatically update behind the scenes safely plugins. You can say update all my plugins, and it will actually do a I can send you a link about how they do it, but basically it says I'm doing this behind the scenes, will this, and then look at what it would look like in the preview. If nothing's broken, go ahead and do it. It's pretty awesome. It won't do beyond point versions. Like, it won't go like a point version of WordPress or a point version of a plugin, but it will let you know, and that's a pretty cool feature. It's like automatic maintenance.
Cool. So while we're wrapping up with the questions, and again, if anyone has questions, just jump on in. Tell us a little bit about what you do with Elementor and what you're doing down there in Las Vegas. How often does your meetup meet and all that kind of stuff?
So we're on our 4th. It's the second Tuesday of the month, and we're of course on Zoom. We will have a location, I hope, someday, but
Vegas is reopening, yeah?
Vegas is doing pretty well. Our state is doing pretty well in Nevada. So they are opening very slowly with masks required. So it's I see traffic now. Okay, for you guys who live in California, it's not traffic. I apologize. I lived on the west side in Marina del Rey in Venice. I understand, like, I'm not quite used to the 405.
You were in the worst area for traffic.
Oh yeah, my brother lived in at the time in Chatsworth. Like, it's not that far.
Yeah, I graduated from Valley, so.
Oh, yeah. awful. The one-on-one is just when my brother lives in Newbury Park now, and when I have driven, I'm like, I don't understand this. It's like 7 o'clock at night. It's amazing. Well, if anyone has any other questions, I know you guys have other things to do. I really, what elementary learning resources? I love the YouTube. Honestly, there's a knowledge base on elementor.com, but the YouTube videos, what my customers like the most, let me rephrase that. What I like the best for my customers is the YouTube channel on the individual widgets. There's actually, on Elementor, if you look down, there's a short 2 to 5 minute video about every one of those widgets I just used. So if they're not clear on how to embed videos, if they're not clear on how, and there's an overview video that gives you the basics, which is how to drag things in and how to order things. What's a section, column, row. The YouTube channel is the most useful for my customers.
I agree. And I think Elementor has one of the best YouTube channels of all the WordPress products. They have, and I usually have a slide in my deck. They have all these different playlists. And like you said, they have one that just talks about all the features. They have one that speeds through creating something. It's called Speed Art. They have a whole bunch of different channels, and they're great resources to learn.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, there's so many resources today. There's for the developer resources, the docs are amazing. I mean, so we're at the point where you can actually write your own widget. It's a plug-in to Elementor. You can actually write your own to do specific things. So for some of our projects, we do that. It's kind of like writing WordPress plugin, but it's specific for Elementor use. So we can let our customers give them just enough what they need and nothing more. Like drag this box in and it does this is what a lot of people can follow that.
Cool.
I really hope this has been helpful, guys. If there's any other questions, I'm happy to answer by email or text me. And I really appreciate. I hope it helped.
Oh, it definitely did. Are you the best way to contact you is through your email, or are you on social media, or how can people reach you otherwise?
You could look up my name on Facebook and friend me. You can send me a messenger. You can text me. I always joke, what else am I going to do? For a few months, I'm available.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Our agent is pretty busy, but at least I get Saturday off.
Well, that's cool. There were so many, I just saw a video recently about this. So it was great that you jumped on and showed us. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I'm happy to help. And if last thing I want to say is if anyone has any nonprofits or people that are businesses that are hurting, I have availed myself. If anyone wants, on my site you can click schedule now. If you have any friends that run nonprofits or businesses that are having problem getting online, it's really weird. We've done a little better since COVID, and as a way of giving back, I've done some pro bono work for nonprofits, and so if anyone knows anyone, happy to help. Just send them to my website, have them click schedule now, and pick technical consultation. I'm happy. It gives anyone a half an hour. If I can help do that, I'm happy to.
Oh, that's very nice of you. Very kind of you. Awesome.
All right. I'm gonna go on mute now.
All right. So if you go ahead and make me the host again, we'll go from there. I made you host instead of co-host. So hover over my name under participants.
Let's find that. There we go.
Yeah, you'll have a more button when you hover over.
Yeah, I got it.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I have the pro with webinar. I just had to find it. Thanks.
All right, thanks, Michael. Okay, looks like I still don't have it yet.
I think he had to get out of screen share in order to do it.
Yeah, stop sharing this.
Yeah, now Joe, your host.
Okay, thank you. All right, let me just quickly jump back into the slides here. Now, that was a great session, and I know we went over a little. So I may not have time to do my demo for today, but we took a look at Michael's stuff. There's some interesting news in Elementor as usual. How many folks in the audience participated in the virtual world tour? The virtual road trip. What that was, it was, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you said who did. I did.
All right, tell us your thoughts. For those that don't know, Elementor, the team based in Jerusalem, since they couldn't go out and do any in-person events, they sent their top folks around to certain parts around the world. They started in, I think, Australia, and they went all around the world hosting meetups where they did a specific topic. So they stopped in LA early in June, and they talked about a topic, and they went all over Atlanta, New York, Texas. It was incredible. Steve, tell us your thoughts on it and sort of.
Well, I thought it was great. I wish the breakout would have lasted a little bit longer, and I mean, I wish all these things would last a little bit longer, because I think like they all get kind of cut short because everybody starts getting involved and later on, and then everybody has like questions left, you know, and then I mean, you know how it goes. It's never gonna like catch back up but so I thought it was phenomenal. And I used that pop-up. The steps to create my own cool little pop-ups like that, and even forward the PDF that the guys gave us to my partner in Thailand, and he's used it too. I mean, it was a nice little tool, and I never even thought to create it with that cool little graphic. I mean, my stuff's kind of boring, you know, maybe rounded corners, you know, like I don't. And so these little meetups and these little whatever, you know, little tutorial things are always kind of neat because the artsy part of it is something where I lack, you know. So I like seeing how we move that shadow in, and then I've been using that little mouse effects thing that I learned that mouse effects thing to make the box kind of go opposite of the way the mouse goes, you know. And I've used that on a site now, and for a custom guitar site that I do, and the guy's all sweet because, you know, like his logo kind of bends now, and that there's a 3D, you know, like a twisty kind of thing, and just do a little number, and the logo kind of twists. It's cool. And I learned it all because, or experimented with it all because that, you know, the head dude, whatever his name is, I forget it right now, it's slipping my mind. That dude on all the videos, the dude that was talking,
yeah.
You know, he showed us that. And then you brought it up in the breakout, Joe, and somehow I luckily got into your breakout, and I was thinking, man, that was incredible. Like, I mean, and that's all I want, you know, like today, this dude talking, I mean, this guy like got me fired up on some things to do. And I was like, oh, that is sweet. That's why I should use that, you know, because I've been getting away with the inherent stuff. You know, I know the dynamic stuff, of course, you know, do WooCommerce stuff. I mean, you know, you have your search based on categories or whatever, you know, and I have got some feeds on one of my sites that does clinical research to bring in only posts with COVID, you know, and I pulled the RSS's in and stuff from like that. And I do that just like little feed aggregators and stuff, but not the way he's talking about. So I'm going to mess with the way he's talking about it. And like, I always wondered how those law sites did that crap and they didn't write the blog post. I knew they didn't write the freaking blog post. And I wondered how they would do that without it, you know, just being jackass. Cause you know, you don't want to screw your SEO stuff up. You know, because I mean, if you just have a bunch of if you're saying it's you and it's not really you, and then, you know, you got 1,000 pages of you know, Joe Simpson Jr. really just plagiarized, you know, Steve Kinsey, it doesn't matter, right? I mean, the point, that doesn't work for you, right? Especially if it's on my site first, which is what it is. But I mean, all that clickbait and all that crap that you get, like all those taboo things that come up on everything. I mean, how do they get all that stuff in there? Well, this guy just showed us how to do it without me having to like bust open my code books. Like, you know, I know I can code it, right? I mean, but I don't want to have to mess around with, did I miss a damn semicolon or a bracket curly Q on a different line with, you know, 2 indents instead of a half indent. I mean, you know, like Python, you got to have an indent. They're all crap. You know, I mean, like, it's amazing, right? Tabs versus indents, you know, Silicon Valley crap. And I'm just saying that is why I come to this. And your meetups are way better than, I've been trying to been to other ones, and your meetups are like trendy and current. So that's why I'm here.
We always try to do hands-on stuff and get people in to show you how to do things. That's the way I learn best. So I appreciate it. Michael, what were your thoughts on the virtual world tour?
I thought it was amazing. On the virtual world tour, the one thing you got is people from the company Elementor,
Right.
Who were leading, right. Ben Pines and the guys that lead the. There was one other thing. The Facebook group is a great resource too, and the guys that lead community were there presenting. The guys who do customer service were presenting. I like that the best, getting directly from the people that are building things. And they really care about what you want. Like, that was one thing they made clear, because both Joe and I were breakout leaders on the World Tour events. And at least what I got out of it was they kept asking, our instructions were, find out what you guys want. They really care what the users of Elementor need to do, and that they get direct feedback right into the company of that. That was exciting to me, because are we still recording?
Yes.
Okay. There's not all companies have that same commitment to listening to the development community before rolling out major features. Yeah. On a totally unrelated note, the most popular plugin in the universe is Classic Editor.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I think that's what I think that's why when I did the comparison, that's why I wanted to go with Elementor.
Hold on.
What?
He just said the most popular plugin in the world. Contrary to what this guy said yesterday in some Denver meeting I was listening to when my kid was driving me crazy.
Classic Editor.
Classic Editor?
Yeah.
Jetpack?
No, so Classic Editor removes Gutenberg blocks.
Oh, that's great. I love it. I use it, but I'm saying that he said in his thing yesterday, he did like the top 7 plugins or something. His whole was like, don't download a plugin until you talk, listen to me. It was sort of basic in the basic track, right? But because Joe was doing it at the Denver thing, I listened to it, right? So the thing one of his quiz questions was, what's the most popular plugin? And as I'm taking my laptop downstairs out of my office, because my kid was in here going crazy and he wanted to play. So I took it downstairs, and I was thinking, I think it's Jetpack, but I don't know. And then I think he said his Jetpack was the answer, and I thought that makes it sound bounce about right, because they've been around for a long time, and I mean,
Yeah, the Jetpack has the most downloads total. The most popular since Gutenberg is Classic.
Right, and then when you said Classic Editor, I was like, man, I can't. That's only been around for like a minute since they went blocks, like for maybe a year.
So. Yeah, they stopped counting it at 5 million.
Oh, okay.
And I thought you were saying that tongue in cheek. I thought that's why you asked if we were recording or not. I thought you were.
Well, I think he did. I don't think he knew you were. You said it yesterday. That's what I'm saying.
I have said publicly. I will be. Blocks are great unless you're actually building something.
Well, yeah, except they're real quick and down and dirty for like if you just got to do a simple site, you don't want to give them.
That's
a bunch of
exactly right. But at an Elementor meetup, like I don't need blocks.
No.
Right.
Right.
I've never used them once. I have no use for them.
Nope.
So
hated them when they first came out, like the old school Elementor or old school regular WordPress. Took a long time to even switch to a page builder, and thank God I switched to Elementor, not Divi or something like that. So, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I think, and as we sort of transition back into the slides, one great thing that I appreciate about Elementor is what you were saying, Michael. I don't think any other plugin adds features as quickly based on customer input. It seems like a scary way to run your business, but they're always upgrading based on what they think we want, which is pretty exciting.
What do you think about Oxygen? Though Oxygen looks pretty tough. I mean, the new version of Oxygen 3, 5, or whatever it is, that I just looked at it yesterday. It looks pretty lightweight and pretty tough, man. I might have to experiment a little bit.
Maybe in another year or so.
You don't think so, Scott? You think it's not good now? Have you tried it?
Good, but it's not Elementor.
Have you tried it though?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not as flexible, or what isn't as good about it?
It's not as flexible. I'm not ready to make the move yet.
Right on. Good to know that I won't mess with it. Thanks for the heads up.
play with it to learn it, but I'm not ready to use it.
I don't need to learn it, man. I mean, I might find sites with Elementor. I'm not going to learn it just to. I mean, yeah, I don't want to say that I don't learn stuff just for the heck of it, because sometimes I do, but I don't want to mess with it because, if I don't practice it, I can sit there for the next week and learn it and not do it, just mess around with a test site. But if I don't keep using it, I'll forget it, like my PHP skills sometimes. Yeah, I understand.
All right. So yeah, I usually provide a few links to news that's going on in the Elementor community. It's a part of the slides. They usually have a great link on their blog, on the Elementor blog, which is another great resource for you to check into. It always lists the sites that they highlighted as things that they think you should take a look at that are doing some interesting things. So the sites of the month link is here. Lottie animations were integrated in a release recently with Elementor, which is another cool way to expand your site. So I have a couple of links there.
Somebody, somebody I think yesterday posted just a test site that they were working on that was based on Lottie. And for those who don't know Lottie, you can edit Lotties or create Lotties out of Adobe After Effects.
Well, tell them what a Lottie is for those that don't know what a Lottie is. It's an animated, it's an SVG that's animated.
Yeah, an SVG is animated. But this guy actually took little pieces of video, like 3 or 4 seconds worth of video, say of a woman twirling or a ballerina twirling, and actually created a Lottie animation so that that video actually moved as you were scrolling down the page. So the scroll activated the video.
So they used a motion effect in Elementor in addition to the Lottie to make it.
It's not a motion effect. Well, it's not based. It's a scrolling. It's not based on mouse movement like the mouse motion effect in Elementor. It's the actual, as you're scrolling the page up and down, that's controlling whether the video is going forward or back, and using it as a full screen background. It was just incredibly cool. And then you can put other animations and other stuff on top of it. But instead of just having that static image as a background, it actually was a Lottie video that was controlled by you moving the mouse up and down.
Wow.
As you scrolled the page.
Wow.
Yeah. So it seems like it's, Lotties are looks like they're the next hot thing. So
you making an After Effect?
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah, and they have a website too. I can pop the link in the chat there. But there's also, if you like what you're seeing today in terms of meetups, there's Elementor meetups all over the world, especially now that they're virtual. I would recommend you jump on there too, because there's, like today, there's always great presentations being given on specific topics. What else we got here? We've talked at previous meetups about what themes work best with Elementor. We talked a little bit about it here. The few that Michael mentioned are on there. Generate Press is there. Astra, Hello theme for Elementor. And there's also a page on the Elementor site itself and documentation that sort of talks about these themes that work best, the plugins that work best. Again, on YouTube, Elementor has a great channel. It's great. Like I said, it's got a number of different topic-specific playlists. So there's hundreds of videos there on anything that you want to learn and the way you want to learn. Like some people like to follow along. Some people just like to look at things. They also have a Monday masterclass. Outside the Elementor sphere, there's a couple of folks that do great things. I know someone mentioned earlier in the chat, what's the gentleman's name? Oh Boy in YouTube does a lot of Elementor things. Adam Pricer, he's been over to Israel with Ben Pines. He's a great teacher of Elementor as well. So those links are in here as well. These are some of the examples of the playlists in Elementor. And again, you can click through to get them. And each of them are different ways of looking at it. Like the widget tutorials is what Michael was talking about. It allows you to go in and see how each of those things are used. For example, when I was building my demo for the office, each of the elements I just went through and did a quick tutorial and built it. Quick tutorial and built it. So it's great because a lot of times we're building things, we have a specific task that we want to accomplish, and then we immediately start Googling it. So this is a great place to get that information. So, all right, here's some more how to choose a theme for Elementor. And again, these are all sort of evergreen slides that I have in inside of it. Next month, we're going to meet around the same time. We usually do this the 3rd or the 4th week of each month. So we'll hope to see you next month. I'm going to try to line a speaker up. Like Michael was so kind to come in and help us out. I'm talking with some other Elementor leaders so that we can have another topic-based demo. What I challenged myself to and to present to the group last time, I'll definitely do that first. What it was there's a website, and let me see if I can pull it up. We took 2 numbers from the audience, and for me, for inspiration, I love to look at this website. It's been around a while, Media Queries, and they show you site designs for large companies that they think are interesting, and they show you all the different versions. So they show you a mobile version,
that is our
tablet, and desktop, and so we picked 2 numbers.
42.
Picked 2 numbers, and we selected a design that we were going to build from scratch in Elementor to show you how easy it is. So we're going to do that next time. If I remember right, let me see if I can go to the history.
That's a great idea.
So I think they're like, I think there were 54 pages, and I think there's 1, 2, 3. I think there are 8 designs on each page. So we picked a number between 1 and 54 for the page, and we'll do it right now. We'll take another vote. Because the page that we picked, unfortunately, they changed the design that's up here. It's not the same. So pick a number between 1 and 54 and put it in the chat, please. And then pick a number between 1.
Okay, 48. Look at that.
And 10. Pick a number between 1 and 10. So I need 2 numbers from each person, 1 and 54 and 1 and 10. All right. So I'll take, for example, Sumner said 48, so we'll go to page 48 inside of this.
That's a great challenge.
Yeah, it's going to be. We'll see how well I do it. So 48, and then the second number, we'll take Steve's number 7. So on this page, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this one looks pretty simple. But the challenge would have been to build this inside of.
That doesn't look that simple.
Yeah, no, I know. So we have to build this inside Elementor.
Wow.
Nice.
That's not that simple, man. You got that. They got that background image and all that good business. I think
you've got a bunch of Z indexing.
Yeah, man. That's gonna be real.
Yeah.
I
so
like
that's what the challenge was, and I was going to do that during the course of our meetup. So,
nice.
So I'm going to bookmark this page, and this is going to be what we'll try next. All right.
I love it.
Before we wrap up, and like I said, Sumner's accessibility meetup is going to start in a little over an hour. So join us there. Are there any other questions or comments? And again, thanks to Michael for joining us from Las Vegas. That was an awesome presentation. That's the next thing. Actually, I wanted to build a dynamic. We have photo galleries on our website, and I wanted to present a dynamic version of one. So this is a great way for me to start that presentation. So I definitely appreciate that. Do we have any comments from the group before we get out of here?
Thank you very much to you guys.
Thanks. I hope you found some value in it. Jim, what were your thoughts on the meeting today?
I thought it was helpful. I didn't give my introduction, so maybe I'll do it now. I've been working with WordPress since the early 2000s, mid 2000s, whenever it started. And I have my own agency building websites and migrating people from other programs into WordPress. And one of my developers started using Elementor maybe a year or 2 ago. And so I've started adopting it, and I'm not a developer, so I wear all the other hats. And so I enjoy this meetup so that I can learn more about how it works and what it can offer my clients. So yeah, it's very helpful to follow along and see how people build things, what the capabilities are. So thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Any other comments? And I was gonna show you also one of the, and let me see if I can pull it up here while we're finishing up here. What I saw at one of the road trip stops, Ziv showed us how to build a pop-up with the pop-up builder. And one of the things, like Steve had mentioned earlier, I went out and I decided to build one. Let me see if I can show you what I did here. And it was a lot of fun.
I was amazed that all that was capable inside of Elementor.
Yeah. All right. So I have a link here. Let me share. I'm going to share my screen one more time, and I'm going to show you a couple of. I built a couple of different types of pop-ups. Let's see here. All right. All right. So can you see the screen? This is a part of the demo that I did for my office. So you can you see it's a Metro site. I created this kind of pop-up. Yeah. So I did a coronavirus pop-up, and it links to Active Campaign. We have an Active Campaign thing. I also did another pop-up. Let me see where that's at. I used a mega menu plugin for Elementor. Although this really slows our site down, I was doing speed tests because that's one of the concerns here. Let me see what I have here. All right. That's not it. Okay. And the second pop-up that I built, that's not it. All right. So the second pop-up, it was similar to what Steve was talking about. Let's see here. It should load in a second. Oh, there it is. All right. It has a little motion on the back of it.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool, man. I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, and it's got the 3-dimensional cutout thing. So again, we have an app on our site, and it's on the App Store and Google Play Store. And I wanted to do something a little more dynamic for our pop-up.
Cool. You programmed an app. That's cool.
So yeah, so I could demo that next time as well. So so next time the challenge will be to try to build something quickly from the media query site, and then we'll go in and we can play with the pop-up builder next time. Awesome. So I'll see you guys in July. If there aren't any other comments, thanks for stopping in. Thanks again to Michael for joining us from Las Vegas. Thanks to everyone that joined Elementor and Selling Clarita today. Enjoy your weekend, folks.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, Joe, what's your website?
It's joesimpsonjr.info.
joesimpsonjr.info?
Yep.
Got it. Thank you.
All right. See you, folks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.